Tayab Ali is Director of the International Centre of Justice for Palestinians and an international crime lawyer. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. Firstly, tell us about the ICC investigation that the Met Police is apparently part of. What is that set to be looking at? Afternoon.
Hi. So it's really important to understand the ICC's investigation. It's not just with regards to the events that have occurred since October the 7th, including, by the way, the actions of Hamas in Israel and then subsequently the actions of Israel with regards to Gaza. It also includes any act by within the territory of the occupied Palestinian territory since 2014. And the reason for that is that the ICC previous prosecutor opened an investigation endorsed by the ICC court that it had jurisdiction over that territory in order to investigate war crimes in that region.
Mm-hmm. Why then is the Met Police involved?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to explain this. So the types of criminal acts that are under investigation at the moment are war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity. And these particular types of crimes are considered to be what's called jus cogens crimes, so serious that they affect every state, every person on the globe. And what we have done as states is come together to create a system of a legal framework to prevent and investigate and prosecute perpetrators of those crimes. Mm-hmm. So as part of our treaty obligations, first of all, there's two aspects of this. First of all, our treaty obligations. The United Kingdom has made it very clear that we stand against perpetrators of war crimes, genocide and crimes against humanity. And we have accepted jurisdiction in some aspects to investigate and prosecute those crimes. But secondly, in domestic British law, in the International Criminal Court Act 2001, the UK Parliament accepted, as part of its obligations and relationship with the International Criminal Court, that where the ICC opens an investigation, as a matter of domestic law, we're obliged to support the ICC in those investigations. So what you see Scotland Yard doing in respect to these investigations here with regards to Israel and Gaza is just fulfilling its British domestic legal duty to supply the International Criminal Court with material that it comes across with regards to war crimes and international violations of criminal law.
Where else have the ICC opened investigations into these types of crimes, war crimes, genocide or crimes against humanity?
Well, you've got in, let's talk about, we will talk about that, but also talk about in relation to the Scotland Yard. So in March 2022, the International Criminal Court opened an investigation with regards to Russia with the allegations of war crimes in the Ukraine. And what's interesting is that the exact same types of posters that have been issued now that Boris Johnson seems to take some offence with were issued at British airports at that time with individuals that were travelling from the Ukraine to the United Kingdom. And Scotland Yard carried out its investigation with regards to gathering evidence on behalf of the ICC with regards to the Ukraine. They renewed that request or that call for evidence in February 2023. And again, these posters are available at airports across.
I get it. I see the link between what the ICC does and a request for policing authorities around the globe to police issues that, whilst not happening on our territory, would nevertheless constitute either war crimes, genocide or crimes against humanity. I see the sort of the theory of that. In reality, nothing's going to happen. I mean, in reality, practically, how is it meant to work that someone comes back, lands at Heathrow and says, yep, there was a war crime here, this is it, and the police take that, and then what happens? Yeah,
I mean, I have the opposite view of you, Tom, with regards to that principle. It is happening, actually. And so a significant number of people have returned to the United Kingdom from Israel and Gaza following the events of October the 7th. And people are making themselves available to the British police in the United Kingdom in respect of allegations of war crimes against Hamas and allegations of war crimes against Israel. And what the police do is it's not so much a person comes forward and says, I know a war crime from A to Z and this is what I'm giving you evidence about. What they do is they provide eyewitness testimony along with photographs, along with videos of what they've seen, what they've experienced. They provide that to Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard has an obligation to take that evidence and pass that evidence on to the International Criminal Court. Now, both aspects of that evidence gathering will then form part of their picture. So it's a jigsaw in a piece of a larger picture. then it's for prosecutors, so the Crown Prosecution Service in the United Kingdom or the International Criminal Court prosecutor to put those pieces together and determine whether a violation of international laws happened and what should be done about that. And what is likely to happen, in my view, in ICC is that the ICC will before long issue arrest warrants for people that it considers to have perpetrated war crimes.
So, just finally then, I guess the premise on which Boris Johnson bases his criticism of the Met Police is the fact that he fundamentally disagrees with the ICC establishing an investigation into alleged war crimes by the Israeli state from 2019, which is when I gather this particular investigation started. Can you understand why someone might object to what they see as perhaps a politicisation on the part of the ICC for opening an investigation into Israel in the first place?
Well, I mean, I think this is really disingenuous, right? I don't want, as a lawyer and as a director of a rights organisation, for these matters to be litigated on the streets, in the streets of London, on the streets of Paris, on the streets of Gaza, on the streets of Tel Aviv. These matters should be dealt with properly by law enforcement agencies, gathering evidence and prosecuting individuals accused of war crimes, whoever they are, in a court of law. That's the right forum. That's not politicisation. Taking away a court process, a legal process, to resolve these issues politicises this, and that's something we need to prevent from happening.
Very good to talk to you. Tayab Ali, Director of the International Centre of Justice for Palestinians and an international criminal lawyer. So whether or not it's the criticism of the Met Police by the former Prime Minister that they are politicising the conflict further by putting these posters up, I think Mr Ali gives a compelling description of what the police are doing. I mean, it feels a bit difficult for the police, doesn't it? They can't investigate bike thefts at the moment. They've got to apparently deal with war crimes in the Middle East. So it feels like a very, very long way away. But there it is. That's the obligation.